Leading lines is one of my favourite rules of composition because it is the ultimate way of leading someone through the frame and adding depth and interest. A very common leading line is a road or a path, and as I stand on the edge of this hill I can see many roads leading up into the mountains. This one over here stands out to me because I can see the line leading straight upwards and into the frame. So much depth in that shot. So I've put my 135 on this lens and I'm going to go and just capture this from here, adding a little bit of context to the foreground, not too much sky because we start to lose detail. And I'm starting the leading line on the bottom right and it's winding its way in towards the top left-hand corner. I'm going to shift the frame slightly to the right now and force that line to the left of the frame. What that is going to allow me to do is put the line through the frame onto the left-hand side until it reaches the top, and then the viewer can follow the line, the implied line, as it goes over the top of that hill and round the clouds. I can also see more leading lines to the left here, and there's two sets of lines. Initially, there's the poplar trees in the foreground, and they lead your eyes up into the frame, and then they meet this road in the distance which kind of winds through the frame. So it's two sets of leading lines working together to draw your attention into the background while adding some context from the foreground. And I think I'm also going to include the bottom of this olive bush just to add a little bit of balance and stability to the bottom of the frame. I think what I'll also do is I'm going to shift that image slightly to the right. That way we can include the rule of thirds so that the path that goes up on the right hand side is going to go on a third line too. There's one final leading line that I'd like to capture in this scene, and instead of shooting in portrait I'm going to go landscape because this line goes diagonally from left to right and then up into the top of that mountain over there. There's lots of vertical lines in this frame in the form of trees, but I think that that line really helps you to explore the whole frame. And because we're not zooming in as far, the scene is less compressed. So that's leading lines. I think you'll agree it is a great way of directing attention through your frame to the areas at which you'd like your viewer to look. Let's say you want someone to look at this building up here. A simple way to get them there is to provide them with a leading line that goes into the frame. There's probably 100 different ways to take a photograph of this building. But from where we're standing, there is a footpath that goes all the way up and it kind of wraps in and winds up so that the road and the path disappears and the viewer's attention is brought to where you want them to go, this building at the end. You see leading lines all the time. Whether you're walking down a street or you're driving down a mountain road or you're just looking out the window, there is a leading line. I mean, I'm standing here and I can see all over half a dozen leading lines, roads, rows of trees, pathways. These are great compositional tools that are already at your disposal. It's just a case of positioning yourself somewhere where you can make use of them. This leading line works because it leads into the frame and it takes you to where we want to draw the direction. However, if this leading line decided to go and veer off right and went down a pathway and there was a wall across here, that would be an interesting balance. And it could still be a good composition, but the leading line would not draw your attention into the frame to this building in the background. So it's important that you find leading lines that take you where you want to go. They're not always the easiest thing to use despite their abundance, because sometimes they will go outside of the frame when you want them to go in and towards a certain part. But when you can make them work, they do look fantastic. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment.